Our Young wants to give yourself some gifts for Christmas in July. He's area manager for Everwise Credit Union, frequent guest of Daybreak, and Santa's helper for today.
That's right.
End of year expenses and holidays, you want us to think about them now with a couple days left in July. Why?
Well, you know, as I was growing up in life, you always think about, and people make the comment, it's Christmas in July.
Right.
And what better time to think about the holiday expenses than right now? You've got a little bit of time to start prepping for those.
Right.
And, you know, when we really think about it, now is the time to really start setting aside some funds to prepare for the expenses that come at the year end. But it also gives a time to think of joy, which also comes at the year end, and we can do that right here in the middle of the year.
Spreads out the savings too, because for instance, when we get rushed at the end, we're not looking for the best bargain. We're just looking to land it, right?
That's absolutely true, and it's one of those things that, and we say it here on Daybreak all the time. You got to know where you are to know where you're going, and you got to work through all your needs approaches when it comes to how your money works for you and your budget. Well, this is a great time to think about the expenses that are coming down the line, so you can start to set things aside. You know, you can either use a secondary savings account or sometimes even put a little bit of money in an envelope system. Simple as that, just to kind of start to save a little bit for those expenses that are coming down the road.
Some of the tips that you send out to folks: spends more thoughtfully. You're not rushed and making silly decisions at the end, but also can avoid using credit, which we seem to use when we're really crunching for time.
And it seems to be a common theme when we talk around the holiday time. It's that people haven't necessarily saved that money yet, and then they go and they use the credit cards. And right now, especially with credit expenses and interest being on the rise, it kind of ends up costing things a lot more. The other attribute that comes with kind of pre-planning and pre-thinking about your budget and holiday spending is you can kind of create your list now, and you can kind of say, hey, maybe I can find some deals before I even get to the holidays. So it's an avenue where you can start to save and also maybe even purchase some things now. So that way when you get there, you're not as stressed. And so it makes the time of year that much more easy.
You mentioned the budget, setting a budget, setting goals. You really believe strongly in that.
Strongly believe it. It's one of those attributes that we talk about here often, but you got to go with your needs approach and really just focus on your needs and then have a plan for those extras, whether that's paying down your debt or planning for the future expenses that come down the line. You just got to have a plan for the extra, and that's a key attribute to building that financial journey.
Automate transfers. What do we mean by that, and how does it help?
With an automatic transfer, you're really looking at an avenue that your financial institution offers, where your direct deposit comes into your account, you spend out of that account, but you automatically have money that goes out, let's say on the 15th of the month, like I do, and we've talked about before, and it goes into a secondary account. So it's kind of that out of sight, out of mind.
So you think maybe even just saying this side account, earmark it for the holidays?
Absolutely. I think that's really
have a piggy bank.
A key aspect. Just do it, and it allows also for your money to make a little money, because there is interest that comes along with savings accounts, and so it's an avenue that you can kind of put a little bit of money in and then gain a little bit of money in the interest.
Some other thoughts on how to maximize holiday savings: have a shopping list.
Absolutely. And again, having that list, and there's a discipline aspect to your finances where you can kind of look at it from a list as well. Creating that plan, you can go ahead and stick to it, but having that list prepared now, and again, Christmas in July timeframe, you can go ahead and start maybe kicking off a couple things as you're seeing it leading up to the holidays here in the next few months.
And the final two, sales and discounts, kind of related to each other, but you know, it seems like everybody waits for Black Friday, which comes and then is gone in 4 or 5 days with Cyber Monday and all of that.
Sure.
Or you can just look for summertime sales, which are pretty frequent on wintertime items because the stores don't need them right now.
I would actually say that there's probably even maybe more advantage right now than there could be then. I mean, the retailers know that everyone's going to be shopping at that time, but they're looking to try to attract you to buy some things during this time of the year. So there might even be some better deals that you find just because you're being proactive in your thoughts prior to the holiday season coming along.
Mom taught me to always buy my coats in July because that's last year's stock and they're about half the price.
Makes total sense.
And thanks for being here with us today.
Always enjoy coming on.
If you're going to be Santa's helper, you're going to need to work on that beard just a little bit, okay?
No, I just shaved, so you're right. I got to let it go, but it is turning a little gray on me.
148 days I checked, so if you've got time. You do as well. Thanks for joining us today to give everybody some thoughts on Christmas in July with